Okay, so today we're doing 9.5 volume of pyramids and cones. Our objective, which should be at the top of your page, is to find the volume of a pyramid and cone. So when we do this, our warm-up asks us to find the volume of the 3D shapes, and then we're going to leave pi in the answer if it has pi. So I'm going to erase this so I can use this space to solve my problems. Okay, so Mario, from yesterday, how do you find the volume of a rectangular prism?
What's that?
What's
Base,
this?
volume equals base times height.
Exactly right. So volume equals base times height. In this picture, our base is what it sits on, this rectangle here. Sits on that rectangle. How do you find the base of a rectangle? I'll start with that. How do you find the area of a rectangle?
Oh, area of a rectangle? I got you. Area equals base times height.
Base times height?
Yes.
Okay, so we have a base of
5. Wait, I mean
8 and a height of?
3.
Be careful, it's what it sits
20.
on. 20. So 8 yards times 20 yards, which gives me?
Hold on, I got it. No, it's 100.
100.
40.
So what's 2 times 8?
16.
Add a 0 to the end. 160
60.
yards squared. Okay, and then over here we have the height of this figure. So we are able to go to this direction. Volume equals 160 yards squared times my height of my figure is what? Celia.
It's still.
Yeah, I figured we're in the last step.
I got you.
20.
Height of my figure is 3. So 3 yards. What is 3 times 160, Mario?
I got you. 480.
480 yards cubed. Okay. Next one up, we are going to Gabby. Yes, ma'am. Okay, so the volume for a prism is still base times height, so area of the base times the height. The area of the base of a triangle is 1/2 base times height. So that is this shape right here. So Gabby, what are the 2 base and height of that shape? So this triangle right here, what is it? 8 and 9. 8 feet times 9 feet. So half of 8 is 4 times 9. Yep, feet squared. And then what's the height of the whole thing? Yep. So now to finish that problem up, volume equals 36 feet squared times 17 feet. What is 36 times 17? 612 feet cubed. Okay, Alex, you ready? Up next. So how do you find the volume of a cylinder?
V equals pi times radius squared times height.
Yep. In this case, you just now put in pi. What's your radius?
5.
5 inches squared. What's your height?
7 inches squared.
Okay, so now we have 25 times 7 pi inches cubed. What is 25 times 7? 175. And the direction said we could leave with pi, so it's inches cubed. Okay, that is the end of our bell ringer. Our first part is a pyramid. It's a 3-dimensional figure with a regular polygon at its base. With the lateral faces are identical isosceles triangles. What does it mean to be an isosceles triangle? What did you say? 2 sides are equal, so we have 2 congruent sides. Yep. And they meet at that one point. So then we have our formula. So the volume of a pyramid is 1/3 the area of the base times the height. That is it in symbols, 1/3 times capital B times H. So the volume of a pyramid is 1/3 the volume of the prism. So if I had these here that they were all the same height, I do not have those. So if this rectangular prism was the same size as this rectangular pyramid with the same height and the same base area, it would take 3 of the pyramids to fill up the whole rectangular prism.
That's about 2.
So the question here says, in example 1, find the volume of a rectangular pyramid with the height of 12 feet and the dimensions of the base being 4 by 7. So, Bree, what is that formula of volume of a rectangular pyramid?
1/3 area of the base times height.
Area of the base times height. So, in this, it's a rectangular pyramid. How do you find the area of a rectangle? Area of a rectangle You don't remember it on that poster?
Base times height.
It's just base times height. We are given that here. 4 by 7. So we have 4 feet times 7 feet. What is 4 times 7?
28.
28 feet squared. Okay, and then you have to multiply that by 1/3 area of your base, 28 feet squared. What's my height?
Decimal?
Nope, what's the height right here?
Oh, 12.
12 feet. Okay, how many times does 3 go into 12?
4 times.
4. What's 4 times 28?
112.
112? 112 feet cubed is our answer.
Okay, keep it.
I am indeed. Okay, so what is that formula?
1/3 area of the base times height.
Okay, so in this one it says find the volume of a triangular pyramid, so it's a triangle, with a height of 6 inches and a base length of 7 and a base height of 8. How do you find the area of a base when that base is a triangle? What's the formula for area of a triangle? So say it again.
Half
Now she just
times base times height.
Times base times height. Okay. Ooh, let me make that a small b just for the sake of staying consistent. So here, of the triangle, it says that we have a base length of what?
7,
And a base height of?
6,
Of
8.
8. It's okay, I did it in the last class. Okay, so here, we're going to take 2 out of 8. How many times does 2 go into 8?
Oh,
4. What is 4 times 7?
28.
It's not your turn, it's Lanaya's. So 28 inches squared. Okay, so we ended up with 28 inches squared. So now we have the volume equals 1/3 area of my base, which is 28 inches squared, times my height of, you are correct, 1/3. I'm really guilty of that.
Oh my
Nice
gosh.
call. 1/3, 28 times, what's my height in this problem?
Your height is 6.
6. Okay, I did mine in steps, one at a time. You can do it at all of them. 28 times 6 divided by 3. If I did 3, goes into 6 2 times. 2 times 28 is
56.
56. And then it's inches.
Cube.
Inches cubed. If I could get a marker that worked.
Did you
Inches
ask a
cubed.
question?
Yep.
Oh,
Yep.
wow.
So what is the formula for this one? It's 1/3.
B equals 1/3 BH.
Okay, so what is the shape of our base here?
You said what?
What's the shape of our base?
That is the square.
How do you find the area of a rectangle?
Oh, base times height.
Base times height.
Right, no problem.
Okay, so here, what are our base and height of the square?
The base and the height is 12.
So what is 12 times 4?
48.
Yep, 48 meters squared. Okay, so now we have volume equals 1/3 of 48 meters squared. I know, 1/3 squared times what is my height?
Your height is 9.
9 meters. Okay, I did mine with, how many times does 3 go into 9?
What the time?
3 times. What is 3 times 48?
3 times 48. That is 144.
144? Okay. So 144 meters cubed.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
What's your grade in here?
What is the formula we use for volume?
B equals 1/3.
Okay. 1/3
Oh, BH.
BH. What is the shape of my base of this figure?
It's a triangle.
It's a triangle. How do you find the area of a triangle?
Isn't it base times 8 divided by 2?
Yep, 1/2 base times height. So in this case, what is your base and height of this triangle in the base?
The base is 7. I don't know.
That's fine.
7
Times?
squared. Oh, you have to just square it.
Not yet, because you're multiplying the two sides.
12.
So 7 times 12 yards squared divided by 2. How many times does 2 go into 6? Oh, to 12. How many times does 2 go into 12?
6.
6. What is 6 times 7?
42.
42 yards squared. Okay, so we're down to plugging it in. So we now have the volume equals 1/3 area of my base, which is 42 yards squared, times my height of, what's the height of the whole figure? 8. So we see that 3 goes into 42 how many times?
14 times.
14. What is 14 times 8?
You didn't say anything.
Oh, wow.
So what is 14 times 8?
112.
112. Then we have yards cubed.
Did I say, why is it
1/3 times 42 yards squared.
1/3 times 42 yards squared times 8. And I took a 3 out of the 42 and it's 13. So what is the formula we're using?
V equals 1/3 base times 8.
Nice job. Okay, area of the base. What shape do we have as the base? What is this little guy down here?
Triangle.
Yep, how do you find the area of a triangle?
E equals base times height divided by 2.
Yep, base times height divided by 2, or 1/2 base times height. In this picture, what is your base and height of that triangle?
Base is 14.
Yep. Height is?
11.
Height of the whole figure is 11. What's the height of the triangle?
13.
13. Okay, and then we divide it by 2. How many times does 2 go into 17? Oh, 14. 14.
7.
7. You can see what's on my brain. 7 times 13?
91.
91 inches squared. Okay, so now we want to find our volume. Volume equals 1/3. It's going to be 91 inches squared. Times, what's the height of the whole figure?
11.
11 inches. So you're going to do 91 times 11 divided by 3. 333.6 inches cubed. Here we have a cone. It's a 3-dimensional solid with a circular base and a curved surface that gradually narrows to the vertex. We've worked with cones. Again, with this, if this has the same height and radius as the cylinder, it will take 3 of the cones of the same height and radius to fill up this cylinder. And so then we have the volume of a cone is 1/3 the volume of a cylinder. And that formula written out explicitly is going to be volume equals 1/3 pi r squared h. So Reggie, find the volume and leave it in pi if it's applicable. So the volume of a cone with a radius of 3 inches and a height of 12. How do we find the volume of a cone? What's the formula? I did. It's cone, not
1/3
1/3,
multiplied by the volume of the cylinder.
which is
Pi
pi
times radius squared
times.
times height.
Okay, so here we have a radius of 3 and a height of 12. So we have volume equals 1/3 pi. What's our radius?
Let's see. 3.
Yep.
3.14.
So it's going to be 3 inches squared. And what's your height?
12 inches.
Okay, so this one tells us we can leave it in terms of pi. So we're going to do 3 times 3, which is?
9.
So we have 1/3 pi times 9 inches squared times 12 inches. How many times does 3 go into 9?
3 times.
3, what's 3 times 12?
This is 36.
Yep, 36 pi inches cubed. Okay, Shanti, you're next. So you have a volume of a cone with a diameter of 30 centimeters squared and a height of 7. Let's go through the formula first. What's the formula of volume of a cone?
1/3 pi r.
Like that? Okay. So in this one, you're given the diameter. From the diameter, how do you find the radius? So remember, this is the diameter, and this is the radius. How do you find the radius? Yep, we're just going to divide by 2. So you're just going to cut it directly in half. So you do 30 divided by 2, which is 15 centimeters. Okay, so now we have everything we need to plug in. So we have volume equals 1/3 pi. What's my radius?
30.
What is it? We just found it. What is it?
Oh, 15.
It's 15 centimeters squared. And what's your height?
7.
Okay. So, Dylan, what is 15 squared?
I didn't know that boy was here. Huh?
What is 15 squared?
15 squared. 225.
225? So you end up with 1/3, 225 times 7 pi centimeters cubed. What is 1/3 times 7 times 225?
You said 1/3 times 7.
Times 225.
529.
579?
29.
Oh, 29, okay. 529? Is that even? Point what?
It was like 0.3.
0.3 pi centimeters cubed. Okay. Volume equals. Yep.
Sorry.
No, you're fine.
Pi radius times height.
Exactly right. So in here we now have 1/3 pi. What's your radius?
11. Or is it
Yep. And then what's our height?
20?
Okay. Okay, so to give everybody a turn, we're going to go Jeremy. Jeremy, what's 11 times 11? What's 11 squared? 121. So you end up with 121 times 1/3 times 20 pi inches cubed. What is 121 times 20 divided by 3? Jeremy. 121 times 20 divided by 3.
$806.7.
You guys agree?
I don't know.
Okay, pi inches cubed. Next one up, we are at cozy. You ready? So what formula are we using here?
Let's go adjourn and cozy.
Oh, did I skip you?
You skipped Stephen if you.
No, you can go on.
I was going to go backwards up, and Steven's going to be the second half of this problem.
5, 5,
Brian, did I call on you, though? Okay, you're going to be part of this too, then. Okay, so what's the formula?
volume equals 1/3 pi radius squared.
Okay, so in this problem, we once again have the diameter. So what is your radius going to be?
Where's that?
You have the diameter this again, just like the Shanti's problem.
Is that 24?
It's 22.
Oh,
So if the diameter is 22, what is the radius?
11.
It's 11. So we have a radius of 11 feet. So we can now get to substitute in. We have volume equals 1/3 pi radius of 11 feet squared times a height of 24 feet. Okay, Steven, you ready?
No, that's alright.
Okay. Do you have a calculator?
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll give you a second.
Okay.
So what is 11 squared?
11 times 11.
Yep.
121.
So now we have 121. So you end up with 121 1/3 times 121 times 24, and then ends up being pi feet cubed. So what is 121 times 24 divided by 3? So 121 times 24 divided by 3.
968.
968? 968 pi feet cubed. So, Raya, this question says find the missing piece of information. So the volume of the cone is 423.9 yards cubed, and the height is going to be 5 yards. Oh, let me go back. They want us to find the radius. So what formula do we use for volume of a cone?
1/3 pi times 4 height.
Okay, and we want to find the radius, so how do I get r by itself? So how do I get r by itself? What do I divide by? So we want to get r here by itself, so we got to get rid of our 1/3. We got to get rid of our pi, and we got to get rid of our h. So we're going to divide each side by all of those. So I'm going to put a little space here so you can see this. So we're dividing by 1/3 pi h, 1/3 pi h. So now I have r squared equals. When this happens and you're dividing by a fraction, the fraction flips. So it's the same thing as multiplying by 3/1. What is 3/1? Three over 1. Anything over 1 is? It's just going to be itself. So it's just multiplying by 3. So I end up here with 3 times my volume all over pi h. Okay, so, sorry, Raya, we're back to you. So what is our volume in this problem? Yep, 423.9 yards cubed. All over pi, and what's my h? 5. Okay, Alicia, this is your problem. You now get to do 3 times 423.9 divided by pi divided by 5.
What?
So when you put it in your calculator, you're going to put it in as 3 times this number, 423.9, divide by the pi symbol, or 3.14, and then you have to put another division symbol and divide by 5.
You said divide
By pi, and then hit divide one more time, and then divide by 5.
I got 80.95.
Can you say it one more time?
80.95.
80.95. And then that's going to be yards squared. So our last part of this is r squared. How do you get that just to be r? Anybody? What'd you say? What is the inverse operation of a square?
Square root.
It's a square root. So you're going to square root this number here to get you your r. So what is 90.95 square rooted?
8.99.
We square root both, and then what'd you get? Tell me one more time.
8.99.
8.99. And that's 1, so we just put yard. So volume of rectangular pyramid equals, this is our first formula. Say it one more time. So this is of a pyramid, so it's the first one. Is it still? You're right. It's 1/3, you're right. 1/3, say it again, I'm sorry. Base times height. Okay, so here we are looking for the area of the base. Which symbol stands for the area of the base? B, right. So how do I get B by itself? What are we going to divide by? And? What else is here? We're going to divide by 1/3 h. Well, we'll plug in 9 in 1 second. So I'm just getting the formula rearranged. So B equals, remember dividing by a fraction is the same thing as multiplying the reciprocal. So it's 3V over h. So she's now told us part of it. So 3 times, what is my volume? So it's going to be 3 times 60 centimeters cubed. All over my height, which you told me was? 9 centimeters. So how many times does 3 go into 9? So 3 goes into 9 3 times. How many times does 3 go into 60? 20 times. So our answer here is going to be 20 centimeters squared.